Radhe Krishna, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Welcome to all the divine souls, the friends of Lord Shri Krishna, the folks, for yet another episode of Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum in the Global Festival of Divinity in Humanity, celebrating the universal teachings of Lord Shri Krishna. Yesterday, we had a wonderful session by Swamini Vimalananji of the Chinmaya Vision program. And now, today, continuing the legacy of Swami Chinmayananji, we are going to have yet another great stalwart, a great vibrant monk from the Chinmaya mission today, Swami Mitrananji, who is really a mitra, a friend for all youths of today. Most followed youth icon Swamiji is. So we're going to hear him as the eternal inspiration for the youth. Shri Krishna as the eternal inspiration for the youth. So before Swamiji, as usual, today in the Krishna Kala series, today we are going to have yet another child prodigy, Chiranjeevi Varun Sri Krishna. We have already in the beginning seen two great children, Shravya and Skanda, both narrate the Bhagavad Gita shlokas, recite the Bhagavad Gita shlokas so vibrantly, flawless. And we were also admired of those children. I still get people calling me or messaging me about those Gita chantings. And we remember that those children were trained by Srimati Meena Vaikuntham. And today, yet another disciple, student of Srimati Meena Vaikuntham we have with us, who is Chiranjeevi Varun Shri Krishna, who is also a blessed disciple of Srimati Vishakha Hari in the Harikatha tradition. So he is so blessed to have two legendary ladies as his gurus, iconic ladies as his gurus, Srimati Vishakha Hari as well as Meena Vaikuntham. We have already seen through the Harikatha Saptaha Malika the different disciples of Srimati Vishakha Hari presenting the Harikatha series. And Varun Shri Krishna is also getting trained in Harikatha by Srimati Vishakha Hari, other than the shlokas, Narayaniyam, and Gita from Srimati Meena Vaikuntham. In fact, earlier there was a program where Varun had made everybody, all hearts captivated by his beautiful narration of the Prahlada Charitram in the presence of Srimati Vishakha Hari. And that's where many of us happened to get to hear from him. And it was a great thing that he is the son of Srimati Nirmalaji, who is well known to all of us. During the entire week of Harikatha Saptaha Malika, we were hearing from Srimati Nirmala Varadarajan as well. And she was technically assisting us in various ways. So today, I'm so glad that her own son, Varun, is presenting Narayaniyam chanting. Varun is a student of class 6 and studies at Sri Shankara Senior School in Adayar, Chennai. He has shown interest in learning divine scriptures and Harikatha from a very young age. Varun is part of the Bhala Satsang of Narayaniya Satsang Samiti led by Guru Srimati Meena Vaikuntham, and also the student of Vijayashri School of Harikatha of Srimati Vishakha Hari. Varun is indeed immensely blessed to be under the tutelage of such great gurus. His other involvements and interests includes mathematics and solving complex puzzles. My Lord, I would run away from Max book in my school days, and we have a child prodigy who has such tremendous interest in Max and Shastras as well. Perhaps the next time you would hear Varun speaking on probably the Vedic mathematics or the mathematical brilliance of Shankara or Veda Vyasa and all those people. So with this introduction, once again, my humble pranams to Srimati Meena Vaikuntham, the Guru who is present with us today. And also I welcome Chiranjeevi Varun Shri Krishna and all the devotees who are gathered here. And today is the Tiruvonam day of the Onam. Yesterday also we have seen our Krishna as Vamana. And today he continues to be present as Vamana on this occasion of the Tiruvonam. Once again, my heartfelt Onam greetings to each one of you. Onam or any of the festivals are not only restricted to a geographical boundary. They all are spiritually significant. Vamana is common to all of us. Mahabali is common to all of us. So let's all celebrate Onam. Ona Asam Shagal for all of you. Radhe Krishna. I welcome Varun for presenting to us Narayaniam. I think it's also a divine sankalpa that we are offering Narayaniam to the Lord on the occasion of Onam, because Narayaniam was composed at Guruvayur Kshetra, and Guruvayur is in Kerala. It is celebrated as God's own country. Though the Murti of Guruvayurappan was there at Dwaraka, worshipped by Shri Krishna himself in Dwaraka, but Guru, Brahaspati, the Deva Guru, and Vayu, both of them carry the Vigraha. After Dwaraka got immersed in the ocean, the Vigraham was brought back to Kerala and in Mammiyur, which was the older Kshetram. So this was done Pratishtha, therefore it became Guruvayur. So Guruvayur, we cannot think of Kerala without Guruvayurappan, without Krishna. And the entire Kerala, he is celebrated not only there for all of us. Guruvayurappan is our dear Ishtadevata. And Narayana Patadri, who composed it, is from Kerala. So on this occasion of Onam, it becomes so great to have the chanting of the Narayana. Yesterday also we had the bhajans from Kochi, which is the Queen of Arabian Sea, from the Vitoba temple, from Anushri. But today also, I think the divine coincidence, though Varun is from Kerala, from Chennai, but he is chanting to us Narayaniam. We are having the darshan of Swamiji as well. Swami Mitrananji is also present. Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji, and welcome you for this session today. And we are just going to have a Narayaniam chanting by Chiranjeevi Varun. So with Swamiji's blessings, we just move on with the chanting. Then we'll have Swamiji's talk on Shri Krishna's eternal inspiration for the youth. Varun, I request you to start the chanting, please. Swamiji has to say something. Yes, Swamiji. Please unmute yourself, Varun.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Om Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam Kaladeshavadhibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Kamashata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drushtamatre Punaruru Purusharthatmakam Brahma Tattvam Tattavad Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavanapure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam Suryasparthi Kiritam Urdhvatilaka Prodhvasi Phalantaram Karunya Kulanetram Ardrahasitullasam Sunasaputam Kandodyanmakarabhakundalayugam Kanthojvalat Kaustubham Vadrupam Vanamalyahara Shri Vatsadipram Bhaje Keyurangada Kankanottama Maharatnanguliyankita Srimad Bahu Chatushka Samkata Gada Shankari Pankeruham Kanchit Kanchana Kanchilanchitalasat Pitambara Lambini Alambe Vimalambudadyuti Padam Murtim Tavatichidam Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda. My humble namaskarams to one and all. Today, with Krishna Kripai and Guru Kripai, and with blessings of my Gurus, Srimati Meena Vaikundan and Srimati Vishakha Manni, I have got the Parama Bhagyam of presenting few drops in the big ocean of Sriman Narayaniyam. Sriman Narayaniyam is an immortal devotional hymn extolling the glory of Lord Guruvayurappan. It was composed by Melpathur Narayana Bhattadri, the great scholar and devotee who lived in Kerala in the 16th century. Sriman Narayaniyam is a masterly condensation of the famous Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam, which consists of over 18,000 verses. Bhattadri has summarized Srimad Bhagavatam in 1034 verses, dividing them into 100 dashakas.
So,
Dashakas contain the
yeah, 1 minute.
essence of all Upanishads. Sri Narayana Bhattadri was graced with the Lord's divine intervention at different stages of composing this great work in praise of Lord Krishna. Sriman Narayaniyam is recited by devotees as a general prayer and also as a panacea to cure ailments. Bhattadri says in his very first shloka, Hanta Bhagyam Chanana. And yes, indeed, we are all blessed to indeed God, Sriman Narayaniyam, and also our Lord Guruvayurappan. Today, with Guru Kripai, we will listen to recitation of few dashakas covering Krishna Jananam, Balalila, Kaliyamardhanam, Rasakrida, Rukmini Parinaya Varnanam, Uchalopakhyanam, and Sampana Gopalopakhyanam. Now, let us start with Krishna Jananam, which is Dashaka 38. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Sharanam. आनंद रूप भगवन् नैतेवतारे प्राप्ते प्रदीप्त भवदंग निरीयमाणे कान्तिव्रजैरिव घनाघन मण्डलैर्व्याम् आवृण्वति विरुरुचे किल वर्षवेला आशासु शीतलतरासु पयोदतोयै आशासिताप्ति विवशेषु च सज्जनेषु नैषाकरोदय विधौ निशिमध्यमायां क्लेशापहस्त्रिजगताम् त्वमिहाविरासि क्लेशापहस्त्रिजगताम् त्वमिहाविरासि क्लेशापहस्त्रिजगताम् त्वमिहाविरासि। सर्वत्र गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनं गोविंद गोविंद। बाल्यस्पृशापि वपुषा विभूति उद्यत्किरीटकटकाङ्गदहारभासा शङ्खारिवारि जगदा परिभासितेन मेघासितेन परिलेसितसूतिगेः वक्षस्थली सुखनिलीन विलासि लक्ष्मी मन्दाक्षलक्षितकटाक्ष विमोक्षभेदै तन्मन्दिरस्य कलकं सकृतामलक्ष्मीम् उन्मार्जयन्निव विरेजिथ वासुदेव शौरिस्थुधीरमुनिमण्डल हेतसोऽपि दूरस्थितं वपुरुदीक्ष्य निचेक्षणाभ्याम् आनन्दबाष्पपुलकोद्गम गद्गदाद्र तुष्टावदृष्टिमकरन्दर सम्भवन्तम् देव प्रसीद परपूरुष तापवल्ली निर्लोनिदात्र समनेत्र कला विलासिन् खेदानपाकुरु कृपा गुरुभिक्कटाक्षै इत्यादि तेन मुदितेन चिरं नुतो भू मात्रा च नेत्र सलिलास्त्रित गात्रवल्या स्तोत्रैरभिष्टुत गुण करुणालयस्त्वम् प्राचीन जन्मयुगलं प्रतिबोध्यताभ्याम् मातुर्गिरादधित मानुष बालवेषम् प्रेरितस्तदनु नन्दतनूजयाते व्यत्यासमारचयितुं सहिशूरसूनो त्वां हस्तयोरधृत चित्तविधार्यमार्यै अम्भोरुहस्थकलहळहंस किशोररम्यम् जाता तदा पशुपसद्मनियोगनिद्रा निद्रा विमुद्रितमथाकृत पौरलोकम् त्वत्प्रेरणात् किमिह चित्रमचेतनैर्यत् द्वारैः स्वयं व्यघटि सङ्घटितैः सुगाढम् शेषेण भूरि फणवारिथ वारिनाथ स्वैरं प्रदर्शित पथो मणिदीपितेन धारयन् स खलु धन्यतमः प्रतस्थे सोऽयं त्वमीश मम नाशय रोगवेगान् सोऽयं त्वमीश मम नाशय रोगवेगान् सोऽयं त्वमीश मम नाशय रोगवेगान् सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द दशक 45 बाललीला अयि सबल मुरारे पाणिजानुप्रचारैः किमपि भवन भागान् भूषयन्तौ भवन्तौ चलित चरण कञ्जौ मञ्जु मञ्जीर शिञ्जा श्रवण कुतुक भाजौ चेरतुश्चारु वेगात् मृदु मृदु विहसन्तौ उन्मिषद्दन्तवन्तौ वदन पतित केशौ दृश्य पादाब्जदेशौ भुजगलित करान्त व्यालगत् कङ्कणाङ्कौ मतिमहरतमुच्छै पश्यतां विश्वनृणाम् अनुसरति जनौघे कौतुक व्याकुलाक्षे किमपि कृत निनादं व्याहसन्तौ द्रवन्तौ वलित वदन पद्मं पृष्ठतो दत्त दृष्टि किमिव न विदधाते कौतुकं वासुदेव द्रुतगतिषु पतन्तौ उत्थितौ लिप्तपङ्कौ दिवि मुनिभिरपङ्कैर्सस्मितं वन्द्यमानौ द्रुतमथ जननीभ्यां सानुकम्पं गृहीतौ मुहुरपि परिरब्धौ द्राग्युवां चुम्बितौ च स्नुतकुच भरमङ्के धारयन्ती भवन्तं तरलमति यशोदास्तन्यदा धन्य धन्या कपट पशुपमध्ये मुग्धहासाङ्कुरं ते दशन मुकुल हृद्यं वीक्ष्य वक्त्रं जहर्ष तदनु चरणचारी दारकैः साकमारात् इलयततिषु खेलन् बालचापल्यशाली भवन शुकविलाळान् वत्सकांश्चानुधावन् कथमपि कृतहासै गोपकैः वारितो भूः फलधर सहितस्त्वं यत्र यत्रोपयातो विवशपतित नेत्रास्तत्र तत्रैव गोप्य विगलित गृहकृत्या विस्मृता पत्यभृत्या मुरहर मुहुरत्यन्ताकुला नित्यमासन् प्रतिनवनवनीतं गोपिका दत्तमिच्छन् कळपदमुपगायन् कोमलं क्वापि नृत्यन् सदय युवति लोकैरर्पितं सर्पिरश्नन् क्वचन नव विपक्वं दुग्धमप्यापिबस्त्वं मम खलु बलिगेहे याचनं जातमास्ताम् इह पुनरबलानामग्रतो नैव कुर्वे इति विहितमति किं देव सन्त्यज्य याञ्चां दधिघृतमहरस्त्वं चारुणा चोरणेन तव दधिघृतमोषे घोषयोषा जनानाम् अभजत हृदि रोषो नावकाशं न शोक हृदयमपि मुषित्वा हर्ष सिन्धौ न्यधास्त्वं समम शमय रोगान् वातगेहाधिनाथ सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द दशक 55 कालीयमर्दनम् अथ वारिणि घोरतरं फणिनं प्रतिवारयितुं कृतधीर्भगवन् द्रुतमारिथतीरगनीपतरुं विषमारुतशोषितपर्णचयम् अधिरुह्य पदाम्बुरुहेण च तं नवपल्लवतुल्यमनोज्ञरुचा हृदवारिणि दूरतरं न्यपतः परिघूर्णितघोरतरङ्गगणे भुवनत्रयभारधृतो भवतो गुरुभारविकम्पि विजृम्भिजला परिमज्जयति स्म धनुःशतकं तटिनी झटिति स्फुटघोषवती अथ दिक्षु विदिक्षु परिक्षुभित प्रमितोधरवारिनिनादभरै उदकादुदगादुरगाधिपतिस्वदुपान्तमशान्तरुषान्धमना फणशृङ्गसहस्रविनिसृमर ज्वलदग्निकणोग्रविशाम्बुधरम् पुरतः फणिनं समलोकयथा बहुशृङ्गिनमञ्जनशैलमिव ज्वलदक्षिपरिक्षरदुग्रविश श्वशनोष्मभरः स महाभुजग परिदर्श्य भवन्तमनन्तबलम् समवेष्टयदस्फुटचेष्टमहो अविलोक्य भवन्तमथाकुलिते तटगामिनि बालकधेनुगणे व्रजगेहतलेप्यनिमित्तशतं समुदीक्ष्य गता यमुनां पशुपा अखिलेषु विभो भवदीयदशाम् अवलोक्य जिहासुषु जीवभरम् फणिबन्धनमाशु विमुच्य जवादुदगम्यतः सजुषा भवता अधिरुह्य ततः फणिराजफणान् ननृते भवता मृदुपादरुचा कलशिञ्जितनूपुरमञ्जुमिळत् करकङ्कणसङ्कुलसङ्मणितम् जहृषुः पशुपास्तुतुषुर्मुनयो ववृषुः कुसुमानि सुरेन्द्रगणा त्वयि नृत्यति मारुतगेहपते परिपाहि समां त्वमदान्तगदात् त्वयि नृत्यति मारुतगेहपते परिपाहि समां त्वमदान्तगदात् त्वयि नृत्यति मारुतगेहपते परिपाहि समां त्वमदान्तगदात् सर्वत्र गोविन्दनाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द दशक 69 रासक्रीडा केशपाशधृतपिञ्चिका वितति सञ्चलन् मकरकुण्डलम् हारजालवनमालिका ललितम् अङ्गरागघनसौरभम् पीतचेलधृतकाञ्चिकाञ्चितम् उदञ्चदं सुमणिनूपुरम् रासकेलिपरिभूषितं तव हि रूपमीश कलयामहे तावदेव कृतमण्डने कलितकञ्चुळीककुचमण्डले कण्डलोलमणिकुण्डले युवति मण्डलेऽथ परिमण्डले अन्तरा सकलसुन्दरीयुगळम् इन्दिरारमणसञ्चरन् मञ्जुळान्तदनुरासकेलिमयि कञ्जनाभसमुपादधा वासुदेव तव भासमानमिह रासकेलिरससौरभम् दूरतोऽपि खलु नारदागदितम् आकलय्य कुतुकाकुला वेशभूषण विलासपेशल विलासिनी शतसमावृता नाकतो युगपदागता वियति वेगतोऽथ सुरमण्डली वेणुनाद कृततानदानकळ गानरागगतियोजना लोभनीय मृदुपादपातकृत ताळमेळद मनोहरम् पाणिसङ्क्वणित कङ्कणञ्च मुहुरंसलम्बितकराम्बुजम् श्रोणिबिम्बजलदम्बरं भजत रासकेलिरसडम्बरम् स्पर्धया विध विरचितानुगानकृत तार तार मधुरस्वरे नर्तने ललितांगहार लुलितांगहार मणिभूषणे सम्मदेन कृत पुष्पवर्षमलमुन्मिषति विशदाङ्कुलम् चिन्मये त्वयि निलीयमानमिव सम्मुमोहसवधूकुलम् स्मिन्नसन्नतनुवल्लरी तदनु कापि नाम पशुपाङ्गना कान्तमं समवलम्बते स्म तव कान्तिभारमुकुले क्षणा काचिदाचलितकुन्तला नवपटीरसारघनसौरभम् वञ्चनेन तव सञ्च्युतुम्बभुजम् अन्वितोरुपुलकाङ्कुरा कापि गण्डभुवि सन्निधाय निजगण्डम् आकुलितकुण्डलम् पुण्यपूरनिधिरन्ववाप तव पूगचर्वितरसामृतम् इन्दिराविहृति मन्दिरं भुवन सुन्दरं हि नटनान्तरे त्वामवाप्यदधुरङ्गना किमुन सम्मदोन्मददशान्तरम् गानमीश विरतं क्रमेण किल वाद्यमेलनमुपारतम् ब्रह्म सम्मदरसाकुला सदसि केवलं न नृतुरङ्गना नाविदन्नपि च नीविकां किमपि कुन्तलीमपि च कञ्चुलीं ज्योतिषामपि कदम्बकं दिवि विलम्बितं किमपरं ब्रुवे मोदसीं निभुवनं विलाप्य विहृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो केळि संवृदित निर्मलाङ्गनव कर्मलेश सुभगात्मनां मन्मथा सहन चेतसं पशुपयोषितां सुकृतचोदित तावदाकलितमूर्तिरादधित मालवीर परमोत्सवान् केळि भेद परिलोलिताभिरतिलालिताभिरबलाळिभिः स्वैरमीशननु सूरजापयसि चारुणाम विहृतिं व्यथा आननेऽपि च विसारि शीतल किशोरमारुत मनोहरे सून सौरभमये विलेसित विलासिनी शत विमोहनम् कापि कामिनीरितिः यामिनीषु खलु कामनीय गणिते भवान् पूर्ण सम्मदरसार्णवं कमपि योग्य गम्यमनुभावयन् ब्रह्म शंकर मुखानपीह पशुपाङ्गनासु बहुमानयन् भक्तलोकगमनीय रूपकमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम् भक्तलोकगमनीय रूपकमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम् भक्तलोकगमनीय रूप कमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम्। सर्वत्र गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम गोविंद गोविंद। दशक 79 रुक्मिणी परिणय वर्णनम। बल समेत बलानुगतो भवान् पुरमगाहत भीष्मकमानित द्विजसुतं त्वदुपागमवादिनं धृतरसा तरसा प्रणनामसा भुवनकान्तमवेक्ष्य भवद्वपु नृपसुतस्य निशम्य च चेष्टितं विपुलखेदजुषां पुरवासिनां अरुदितैरुदितैरगमन्निशा तदनुवन्दितुमिन्दुमुखी शिवां विहितमङ्गलभूषण भासुरा निरगमद्भवदर्पितजीविता पुरतः सुभटावृता कुलवधूभिरुपेत्य कुमारिका गिरिसुतां परिपूज्य च सादरम् मुहुरया च तत्पदपङ्कजे पतितां तव केवलम् समवलोक कुतूहल संकुले नृपकुले निभृतं त्वयि च स्थिते नृपसुता निरगाद् गिरिजालयात् सुरुचिरं रुचिरञ्जित दिङ्मुखा भुवन मोहन रूप रुचातया विवशिताखिल राजकदम्बया त्वमपि देव कटाक्ष विमोक्षणे प्रमदया मदयाञ्च कृशे मना क्वनुगमिष्यसि चन्द्रमुखीति तां सरसमेत्य करेण हरं क्षणात् समधिरोप्य रथं त्वमपाहृतात् भुवि ततो विततो निनतोद्विषाम् सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द वनुगतः पशुपालयिति क्रुधा कृतरणाय दुभिश्च जिता नृपा न तु भवानुदचाल्य ततैरपो शुनकैरिव केसरी तदनु रुक्मिणमागतमाहवे वधमुपेक्ष्य निबध्य विरूपयन् धृतमदं परिमुच्य बलोक्तिभिः पुरमया रमया सह कान्तया नवसमागमलज्जितमानसां प्रणय कौतुक जृम्भितमन्मथां हरमय खलु न यथा सुखं रहसितां हसितां शूलसन्मुखीं विविध नर्मभिरेव महर्निशं प्रमदमाकलयन् पुनरेकदा ऋजुमते किल वक्रगिरा भवान् वरतनोरतनोदतिलोलतां तदधि कैरथलाळन कौशलै प्रणयिनीमधिकं सुखयन्निमाम् अयि मुकुन्द भवच्चरितानि न प्रगदतां ददतान्तिमपाकुरु सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द दशक 87 कुचेलोपाख्यानम् कुचेलनामा भवतः सतीर्थ्यतां गतस्तसान्दीपनिमन्दिरे द्विज त्वदेकरागेण धनादिनिस्पृहो दिनानि निन्ये प्रशमी गृहाश्रमी समानशीलापि तदीयवल्लभा तथैव नोचित्तजयं समेयुषी कदाचिदूचे हतवृत्तिलब्धये रमापति किं न सखा निषेव्यते इतीरितोऽयं प्रियया क्षुधार्तया जुगुप्समानोऽपि धने मगावहे तदा त्वदालोकन कौतुकाद्ययौ वहन् पटान्ते पृथुकानुपायनम् गतोऽयमाश्चर्यमयीं भवत्पुरीं गृहेषु शैव्या भवनं समेयिवान् प्रविश्य वैकुण्ठमिवापनिर्वृतिं तवाति सम्भावनया तु किं पुनः प्रपूजितं तं प्रियया च वीजितं करे गृहीत्वा कथयः पुरा कृतं यदिन्धनार्थं गुरुधारचोदितैः अपर्तुवर्षं तदमर्षिकानने तपाजुषोऽस्मात् पृथुकं बलादथ प्रगृह्य मुष्टौ सकृदाशिते त्वया कृतं नन्विद्यतेति सम्भ्रमात् रमा किलोपेत्य करं रुरोधते भक्तेषु भक्तेन समान सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द भक्तेषु भक्तेन समानितस्त्वया पुरीं वसन्नेकनिशां महासुखम् बतापरेद्युर्द्रविणं विनाययौ विचित्ररूपस्थव खल्वनुग्रह यदि ह्ययाचिष्यमदस्यत् अच्युतो वदामि भार्यां किमिति व्रजन्नसौ त्वदुक्तिलीलास्मितमग्दधिः पुनः क्रमाद पश्यन्मणिदीप्रम् आलयम् किं मार्गविभ्रंशैति भ्रमं क्षणं गृहं प्रविष्टः स ददर्श वल्लभां सखी परीतां मणिहेमभूषितां बुबोध च त्वत्करुणां महाद्भुतां सरत्नशालासु वसन्नपि स्वयं तमुन्नमद्भक्तिभरोऽमृतं ययौ त्वमेव मा पूरितभक्तवाञ्छितो मरुत्पुराधीश हरस्व मे गदान् सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द। दशक 88 संतान गोपालोपाख्यानम्। प्रागेवाचार्य पुत्रा हृतिनिशमनया स्वीय षट्सूनुवीक्षां काङ्क्षन्त्या मातुरुक्त्या सुकलभुवि बलिं प्राप्यतेनार्पितां स्वं धातुशापात् हिरण्यान्वितकशिपु भवान् शौरिजान् कंसभग्नान् आनीयैनान् प्रदर्श्य स्वपदमनयथा पूर्वपुत्रान् मरीचे श्रुतदेव इति श्रुतं द्विजेन्द्रं बहुलाश्वं नृपतिं च भक्तिपूर्णं युगपत्वमनुग्रहीतु कामो किलां प्रापिततापसैः समेत गच्छन् द्विमूर्तिरुभयोर्युगपन्निकेतम् एकेन भूरि विभवैर्विहितोपचार अन्येन तद्दिनघृतैश्च फलौदनाद्यैस्तुल्यं प्रसेदित तदात च मुक्तिमाभ्याम् भूयोऽथ द्वारवत्यां द्विजतनयमृतिं तत्प्रलापानपि त्वं को वा दैवं निरुन्ध्यात् निखिल कथयन् विश्वओढाप्यसोढा जिष्णोर्गर्वं विनेतुं त्वयि मनुजधिया कुण्ठितां चास्य बुद्धिं तत्त्वारूढां विधातुं परमतमपदप्रेक्षणेनेति मन्ये नष्टाष्टास्य पुत्रा पुनरपि तव तूपेक्षया कष्टवाद स्पष्टो जातो जनानाम् अथ तदवसरे द्वारकामार पार्थ मैत्र्या तत्रोषितोऽसौ नवमसुतमृतौ विप्रवर्य प्ररोदम् श्रुत्वा चक्रे प्रतिज्ञाम् अनुपहृतसुतः सन्निवेक्षे कृशानुम् मानीसत्त्वामपृष्ट्वा द्विजनिलयगतो बाणजालैर्महास्त्रैः कुन्धान्यः सूतिगेहम् तरपि सहसा दृष्टनष्टे कुमारे यां न्यामैन्द्रीं तथान्यासुरवरनगरीर्विद्यया साध्य सद्यो मोघोद्योगः पतिष्यन् कुतभुजि भवता सस्मितं वारितोऽभूत् सार्धं तेन प्रतीचीं दिशमतिजविना स्यन्दनेनाभियातो लोकालोकं व्यतीतस्थितिरभरमतो चक्रधाम्ना निरुन्धन् चक्रांशु क्लिष्टदृष्टिं स्थितमथ विजयं पश्य पश्येति वारां पारे त्वं प्राददर्श अपि हि तपसां दूरदूरं पदं ते तत्रासीनं भुजङ्गादिपशयनतले दिव्यभूषायुधाद्यैः आवीतं पीतचेलं प्रतिनवजलदश्यामलं श्रीमदङ्गं मूर्तीनामीशितारं परमिह तिसृणाम् एकमर्थं श्रुतीनां त्वामेव त्वं परात्मन् यसखसहितो नेमितक्षेमरूपम् युवां मामेव द्वावधिकविवृतान्तर्हिततया विभिन्नौ संद्रष्टुं स्वयमहमहार्षं द्विजसुतान् नयेतं द्रागेतान् इति खलु वितीर्णान् पुनरमून् विजायादायादात् प्रणुतमहिमा पाण्डुजनुषा सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द एवं नाना विहारै जगदभिरमयन् वृष्णिवंशं प्रपुष्णन् ईजानो यज्ञभेदैः अतुल विहृतिभिः प्रीणयन् येन नेत्रा भूभारक्षेपदम्भात्पदकमलजुषां मोक्षणायावतीर्णः पूर्णं ब्रह्मैव साक्षात् चतुषु मनुजतारूषितस्त्वं व्यलासि प्रायेण द्वारवत्यामवृतदैतदा नारदस्त्वद्रसार्द्रस्तस्मान् लेभे कदाचित् खलु सुकृतनिधिस्त्वत्पिता तत्त्वबोधम् भक्तानामग्रयायी स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्तयेव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारम् स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम् सोऽयं कृष्णावतारो जयति तव विभो यत्र सौहार्दभीतिस्नेहद्वेषानुराग प्रतुलै आश्रमैर्योगभेदै आर्तिं तीत्वा सहस्राममृतपदमगुस्स सर्वतः सर्वलोका सत्वं विश्वातिशान्त्यै वनपुरपते भक्तिपूर्त्यै च भूया सर्वत्र गोविन्द नाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द. On the 100th day, when Bhattadri writes the 100th Dashaka, he gets the Sakshatkaram of Lord Guruvayurappan and he describes the Keshadi Padanta Varnana. He says, Agre pashyami tejo nividatara kalayavali lobhaniyam piyusha plavitoham tatanu tatudare divya kaishoravesham karunyadambharamyam परमसुखरसास्वादरोमाञ्चिताङ्गैः आवीतं नारदाद्यैः विलसदुपनिषत्सुन्दरी मण्डलैश्च. Now, Lord Guruvayurappan is here and let us take refuge at that lotus feet which is revered by everyone, including yogis and liberated souls. Let us pray for the divine blessings of Lord Guruvayurappan to be the guiding light of all our lives and bless us all with Ayus, Arogyam and Saukhyam. Yogindranam twadangeshvadhika sumadhuram muktibhajam nivaso bhaktanam kamavashadyutarukisalayam nathate padamulam nityam chittastitam me pavanapurapate Krishna karunya sindho Nisheshata Ishatu Paramananda Sandoha Lakshmi Ajñātvā te mahatvam yadiha nigaditam Vishwanatha kshameta Stotram chaitat sahasrotaram adhikataram Vatprasadaya bhūyāt Vedha narayaniyam shruti shuchatanusha Sutyata varnanena Sphitam leelavataraihi idamiha kurutam ayurarogya saukhyam. Shri Guruvayurappa Sharanam, Shri Guruvayurappa Sharanam, Shri Guruvayurappa Sharanam, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha. Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda.
Thank you, Varun, for this wonderful chanting of Narayaniyam. Today, when the world is celebrating Onam, Narayaniam is a chanting composition at Guruvayur temple by Narayana Pattatri, which is in Kerala. So very apt and relevant today. We had heard, in fact, he had summarized all Krishna Leelas, right from Krishna's birth to the end. So, and then the thing is, the great blessing is Swamiji was fully hearing the whole thing with joy. We could see, the joy, the cheer that Swamiji was having, though I was a bit, I think Swamiji's talk was getting delayed, but still Swamiji was enjoying this. That is very evident from his face. So I think you are really blessed today that you are getting the blessings of Swami Mitrananji, who is always himself an inspiration for children, youngsters, for the youth. So Varun will have a great future, a child prodigy like you who could chant just such tough Sanskritam of Narayaniam and Bhagavatam and the Gita. So what more the treasure that you have. So I request Swamiji to bless Varun, Shri Krishna, his guru, Srimati Meena Vaikuntan, who has taught him this Narayaniam, is also here with us. So request Swamiji's blessings. With this, we move on to the most awaited session of the entire festival, I would say, the 1 month global Festival of Divinity, which we are celebrating from 11th of August to 11th of September. In the whole thing, today is the most awaited session we are having with Swami Mitrananji from Chinmaya Mission, Chennai. As verily his name itself says, is really somebody who gives ananda by his mitratva to all the youngsters that I have heard about, I have seen about. And so Swamiji is here with us to bring it to us from Chennai, Achala Sakur. So we will have Swamiji to speak on the wonderful topic of Sri Krishna as the eternal inspiration for the youth. And I need not introduce Swamiji to the circle of spirituality, to Vedanta. He is well known, a wonderful spiritual icon, but still it's my duty. Swamiji as an inspiring tutor, a daring adventurer, vibrant speaker, creative writer, a vigilant administrator, and a mentor for many youngsters across the world. He is currently the spiritual teacher at Chinmaya, Chennai, and also the director of national projects at All India Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, and also the publisher of Chinmaya Udghosh, an international youth magazine. And through his wonderful program of awakening Indians to India and the family quiz, he has reached perhaps thousands of families across. And even the program of awakening Indians to India, the beautiful book, the wonderful puzzle with when you bring India map together, then the person is there, or bring the person together, India map is there. It's all wonderful, amazing creativity with which we have all benefited a lot. And through the youth empowerment program, he has trained more than 300 youths to serve the country full time. And Swamiji has also initiated the Chinmaya Institute of Management Chennai chapter, which is reaching out to colleges and corporates. He's also a highly sorted out speaker in the corporate circles. Swamiji regularly lectures on Upanishad, the Gita, and traditional text. He travels across the world and benefits all the souls who seek his blessings. We are so blessed to have Swami Mitrananji in this wonderful festival of Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum to bring out Shri Krishna as the eternal inspiration of youth. Over to you, Swamiji, with humble pranams from Advaita Academy and Adhyatma Yoga and all the noble souls who have joined us here today. Hari Om.
Namaskar, Hari Om. My salutations to everybody and my hearty congratulations to the little kid, the wonder kid Varun, for that amazing chanting. Though we ran out of time, but what he was chanting was so, so good. My salutations to everyone present, whoever is listening. Sri Krishna Charanam Mama. Thanks for this opportunity. Thanks for inviting me to be part of this beautiful festival, and which gets concluded today. Krishna means, one of the meanings of the word Krishna means dark. Krishna Paksha, Shukla Paksha. Shukla Paksha, bright fortnight. Krishna Paksha, dark fortnight. Krishna is dark. One could be the color, And when we look into our scriptures, the meaning is even more beautiful. He is present in us, hiding. We are not able to see him. He's there, but we are not able to see him. So he who is present already in us, but we are not able to see him. So therefore, he is Krishna hiding within, and we are unable to see. We should seek him. How do we seek him? The best way to seek him, to seek Krishna, would be to develop the values, the qualities, the wisdom what Krishna had. To become Krishna, to rise up to the level of Krishna consciousness, we need to go and cultivate, live by the values what Krishna lived. Once we live by the values what Krishna lived, we rise ourselves, we change, we transform. So we will see some of the most beautiful values of Krishna, which can lift us up to what Krishna's sthiti is, what Krishna consciousness is. And that is the eternal inspiration for all age groups, mainly the youth. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna addresses Krishna as Achyuta. Arjuna says, "O Krishna, please take my chariot to the middle of the battlefield. Senayor ubayor madhye ratam sthapaya he Achyuta." Hey Achyuta, please take my chariot to the middle of the battlefield. The beautiful way of Arjuna's address of Krishna, Achyuta, one who is not fallen. One who is not fallen means he has stood in what is called as Satya and Dharma. He did not come down from it. Not once did Krishna slip from Satya or Dharma. He stuck to these two. Achyuta. So we have to know that we also should become Achyuta, not fallen. How often we keep falling from our own self-worth. How often we keep falling from our own standards, what we have set for ourselves, standard of our life, and then we fall down. My teacher, Guru Swami Chinmayananji, he used to say, falling is not an issue. Don't even bother about falling. But every time you fall, you should know that you should rise back. By falling up and down, only we go up. We rise up. Once we walk up the stairs a couple of times, we will fall. That is natural. On the way to the divinity, falls are natural. People will fall. But every time we slip, we should know to get up and move. But Krishna is one who we have to emulate because he did not fall. Vyasa brings it out so beautifully in describing Krishna's state in the second chapter through Sanjaya. Sanjaya tells Dhritarashtra, the war is about to begin and Arjuna collapsed and everybody was like not sure what is going to happen because the main warrior, Arjuna, collapsed. When Arjuna collapsed, and everybody thought, and Dhritarashtra thought, now this is psychological advantage for the Kauravas, the war even may not happen. In that kind of a condition, and there was panic all around. The Pandavas were panicked, the Kauravas were anxious, nobody knew what's happening there in the middle of the battlefield. And the battlefield, if you see, accommodated more than 32 lakhs of people, 33 lakhs of people. 11 Akshoyinis of the Kauravas, 7 Akshoyinis of the Pandavas, 18 Akshoyinis, if you calculate, it runs to something like 33 lakhs or more. So in the war field of that many people assembled, whosoever was there in the Kurukshetra. And in that panic-driven war atmosphere, everybody is tensed. Krishna was smiling. Sanjaya tells this to Dhritarashtra. Prahasaniva Bharata in the second chapter. Hey Bharata, hey Dhritarashtra, but wait, everything is not over. This man, Krishna, is smiling. He's got a pleasant face in the middle of a war. Please think. In the middle of a war, a tumultuous noise all around, and imagine the tension when 33 lakhs of soldiers have gathered to fight each other. Krishna was smiling. He did not fall down there too. Achyuta, he stood there. That state of Krishna is with us, in us, hiding. We need to get there. That is what we should aim. We should aim to get there where Krishna is within us, a state of being unruffled by anything that happens around the world. Anything that happens around us, we should know to stay unruffled. Krishna stood that way. In the battlefield, the man was smiling. A pleasant smile, prahasaniva. He was smiling away. In a war, this person could smile. Imagine the Achyuta, one who never came down. We also should rise up to that state within, where anything can happen to us. We should not get ruffled. Anything can happen to us. We should not get disturbed. Anything can happen to us. We should not lose our smile. Come what may, we should know to retain that composed mind, that balanced mind. From that, we should never come down. Achyuta, we should be. So all the young people listening, please remember why Krishna is an eternal inspiration to the youth. He never lost a smile. He never lost his composed stature. He never went off balance. He balanced his mind perfectly. Various things in the world outside could never ruffle him. He never allowed the world to irritate him. He knew he was in a world which was very difficult to live at that time. Dharma was at stake, but Krishna managed to see how balanced he could be. So how do we go to rise, emulate to Krishna's levels? We need to follow the values, as I said. So one of the values is, let's decide today on this Trivikrama Jayanti, where Vaman came and showed to Raja Bali that he is Trivikrama. How blessed Raja Bali must be to have that brilliant vision where Trivikrama takes over the space and earth and Raja Bali surrenders to him. On this auspicious day, let us understand, if we are spiritual, we are seekers on the path, we should know to stay smiling, to stay composed, not to let ourselves agitated. If we get agitated, bounce back, saying, oh, Achyuta, I became Chuta, let me rise up and become Achyuta. Fallen, let me get back to become Achyuta. So this is one of the qualities we should keep in mind. Let the world never tease you. Let the world never irritate you. In spite of what is happening around us, like a lotus, let us be without being disturbed by the world around. This is one brilliant quality of Krishna we should know to cultivate. Second point, Krishna always had a clear understanding about the values of Satya and Dharma. The Upanishad says, Satyana pramaditavyam, Dharmana pramaditavyam. Never give up on Satya, never give up on Dharma. Satyam vada, dharmam chara. Never move away from Satya and Dharma. Krishna never moved away, but he always had the wisdom when to take a stand on each of them. When to move into the world with Satya should dominate and when Dharma should dominate. This clarity he had. You see Dasharath in Ramayana, Kaikeyi helped him. With all affection, he gave boons to Kaikeyi. Ask whatever you want, I shall give it to you. Not sure about the future, not sure what can happen. He gave a boon, happy at that moment, at that momentary happiness. He gave a boon to Kaikeyi, and later that became a bane, and everything else changed. Similarly, in Mahabharata, Bhishma took a vrata. He took a vrata saying that he will be a complete brahmacharya, never break the vow of brahmacharya, so that Satyavati's children can become the kings. If he's married and he has children, his children may claim the kingdom. So he said, no, I will not marry only. I will be a brahmachari, so that Satyavati's children can become the kings. And Satyavati had 2 kids, Chitrangada and Vichitravira. Unfortunately, both died at an early age. They were married and they died. Now there's no legal heir for the kingdom. Satyavati, in fact, came to Bhishma and said, get married. Amba is so angry with you, get married. And that will sort out various things. But Bhishma took a promise long ago. He made a vow that he will be a brahmachari and he could not go back. Krishna never made such vows. He never gave a blanket promise. He never gave. His own mother's sister, Shishupala's mother, requested Krishna to forgive him, and he kept quiet. Then she said, forgive him 100 times, please. And he said, okay. So blanket permission was never given. Conditionally, it was given. Shishupala, when he was born with an extra eye and extra hands. And there was Akash reading. The voice from the sky said, the man who picks him up and his hands, the extra hands and eye will disappear. But the sad part is that man will be responsible to kill Shishupala. Shishupala will die in his hands. So the child was being passed to different people sitting in the room there in the palace. And when Shishupala as a kid came to Krishna's hands, the eye which he had and the extra hands fell off. Now everybody knew Shishupala is going to die in the hands of Krishna. But Shishupala's mother, being a mother, absolute love for a child, she requested Krishna saying, don't kill my son, forgive him. Krishna was quiet. Then she said, forgive him 100 times for my sake. She thought she will groom Shishupala well, the parenting, so that he never makes a mistake. But Shishupala grew up as he wanted. And he went on annoying Krishna. And he did that for 100 times. And there was no 101. Krishna finished him. So here, Krishna knew what to say, what not to say. Because when you give a promise in haste and suffer in leisure is not the right way, because we never know what the future is. So Krishna knew these 2 values so well, Satya and Dharma. Please understand, we need to know, if we have to live well, we need to contemplate on these 2. Satya, truth, Dharma, responsibilities. Truth and responsibilities, if we understand well, there is no confusion. In the entire Mahabharata war, one man who understood, in the war, the warriors, all present there, one person who understood this really well was Sri Krishna, who knew the value of Satya and Dharma, and he stuck to that. What is truth? What is Dharma? When truth should dominate, when Dharma should dominate. When the decisions have to be based on Dharma, when the decisions have to be based on Satya. If this clarity we get, we will not falter in life. So to all the listeners, try and think and reflect upon these 2 values. Why the Upanishad tells us Satyam vada dharmam chara satyana pramaditavyam dharmana pramaditavyam. Why does the Upanishad tell us? Let us understand that. And let us reflect upon these two lines. Any amount of talking will not give you clarity. The clarity will come when you start reflecting on these two, about Satya and Dharma. Reflect. Slowly that intuition will come to you. You will know intuitively when Satya should be in the forefront, when Dharma should be in the forefront, when we take decisions. Krishna was a master in this. That was his strength. And this is something which we reflect, mananam, if we do on these two, Satya and Dharma, understand them well, then it makes all the difference. And the parents who are listening, please guide your children on these two principles. Satyana pramaditavyam, dharmana pramaditavyam. Let the decisions be based on Satya and Dharma. And sometimes there could be a rare situation where Satya needs to be in the forefront to take a decision, or sometimes we could be in a situation where Dharma needs to be in the forefront to take a decision. Then you know to take a decision through Dharma, or you know to take a decision through Satya. This understanding is very, very important. Please contemplate upon these two. Reflect upon Satya and Dharma. Krishna had this. He never gave any promises. And when he has to go by Dharma, he stood what is Dharma. After understanding the adharmic forces, and when the world, when people around you are operating or transacting with you through adharma, how to respond. Krishna was very clear about all that. And when he has to be with Dharma, he was very, very clear. So contemplate upon these two, and that would help us to take right decisions. Another brilliant point about Sri Krishna is a strategic thinker. He was a very good strategic thinker. In the entire Mahabharata, you will see him a very strategic person. Strategic thinking is very important. First and foremost, how was he a strategic thinker? He was well informed. Krishna kept himself well informed of his team members, kept himself well informed about the opponents, even much before the war. He had his intelligence, networking. He had his people in place, and it moved. And he kept himself completely informed about everybody around him, and everyone who came in contact in Mahabharata war. Krishna knew about them. He knew the strength of his team. He knew the strength of the opponent. So keeping well informed is very, very important. And Krishna kept himself well informed. Well-read person. And he knew this. Which warrior has what weapons? Which warrior has what boons? Which warrior has what weakness? He knew that. Kept everything well informed. And a good leader like Krishna, a strategic thinker, would anticipate what can go wrong, what people can do. There were, in Mahabharata war, even in Ramayana, if you see, the Ram-Ravan war had war codes, war rules, saying we will follow the war with these rules. And these rules were kept forward, and they fought the war. In India, we always respected these rules. War rules were respected. It's only around 7th, 8th century or 9th century when we were being invaded. We never knew, we never expected that war rules would be broken, because the invaders never had such rules. We had a civilization which had war rules. So when people invaded us, we never knew that in invasion people will go rape women. We never heard of it. In invasion people will kill children. We never heard of it. In invasion people will go and kill wise people. We never heard of it. Schools will be destroyed. Never heard of it. We had rules. Farms will not be destroyed. Cultivation would be kept as it is. Temples will not be destroyed. Our rules were very clear. When two armies came to fight, they had their do's and don'ts. And we fought the war. So Ramayana war had do's and don'ts. Mahabharata war had do's and don'ts, very clearly written. That was the civilization. So advanced. So we followed those rules. But it is possible, sometimes one or two rules here and there, a person could break. A person can break these rules. A good leader has to anticipate what happens if these rules are flunked. What happens if these rules are broken? What is your plan B? If somebody makes this rule, do you have a plan in place to take over, to handle it? And this level of strategic thinking Krishna had. So when there was a discussion about rules, one of the rules were very clear. After sunset, we will not fight the war. Both the teams agreed. After sunset, we will not fight the war. After sunset, any warrior from any of these groups, Pandava warriors can go to Kaurava camp. Kaurava warriors can come to Pandava camp to meet people if they want. This was the understanding, because after all, they were living together. They were connected. Somebody were cousin, somebody was brother. Some relationship was there. So the rules were very clear. We fight between sunrise to sunset. After sunset, we will not fight. If you want to go meet anybody in the opponent ranks, you can go meet him. This was the level of trust, the civilizational values. But there could be possibility of someone breaking. So when these rules were set, Krishna understood there may come a situation where these rules could be broken. So anticipating, he made his plan very clear. He kept his plan in place. That was Ghatotkacha, Bhima's son. Ghatotkacha wanted to come into the war. When he came, Krishna said, no, you will not step into the war till we call you. And nobody should know you're there. You will be our secret weapon if required. You just stay quiet. Let them not know you're there. He made sure the opponents did not know there was somebody like Ghatotkacha. And it so happened in one of the days of the war, after Bhishma falling away, in the war, the Kaurava forces were doing very well. When the Kaurava forces were fighting really well that day, they made sure that after sunset, they'll continue with the war. They were not ready to stop the war because the war was going on and they were winning. And that day they had advantage. They tried to take maximum advantage and did not stop the war. They went on with it after sunset. And since they were in the advantage position, Pandavas were losing. They were waiting for the sunset so that they can get back, regroup next day. But the Kauravas did not allow that. They went on a rampage. When this happened, Krishna called Ghatotkacha, come to the battlefield. This is your time. Tonight is your night. And Ghatotkacha had powers to fight well in the night. He becomes more stronger with nightfall. His strength becomes much, much more powerful at nightfall. So when he came, the Kauravas never knew that there could be a warrior like this. And the Ghatotkacha went on a rampage over the Kaurava army. They never expected, but this happened. And when Ghatotkacha went on a rampage, Kauravas were trying to call off the day, but Pandavas said, no, now you have broken the law, we'll face it. Now face it, deal with it. They went on. And finally, one missile Karna saved only for Arjuna, because that missile, Shakti, Arjuna had no defense. So Karna saved that missile, kept it. This is only for Arjuna. And if Karna has to save the Kauravas that day, Duryodhana insisted that he uses the missile which he kept for Arjuna. And that missile got exhausted through Ghatotkacha. Now the enemies have no more missiles left which can destroy Arjuna. Now Arjuna had upper hand with this. And Ghatotkacha fought that war. He was a martyr. Came forward, fought brilliantly. He raised his standards up. He raised his height up. And then when he was falling down, he crushed the Kaurava army. And the Kauravas did not know there was a secret weapon. This is how Krishna was strategic. He had his strength. He was fully aware of his strength. He was fully aware, very well informed about his enemies. So anyone today, when we want to live well, we need to keep this in mind. Let us keep ourselves well informed, well read. What is essential in life? Let us read it well. The Bhagavad Gita is an essential book to read. Let us read it. Well read. It is not that I read 20 books, 30 books. Let's take one book and read it well. So people have this great pleasure saying, for last 40 years I've been listening. I've heard some 1700 texts. Widely informed you are. Get well informed. Take one book and read it well. That will transform us. And so Krishna was a well-informed person. So if we have to go, let us be well-informed, well-read. So what is essential in my life? I should be well-informed about it. Just check, do you have sufficient knowledge to deal with your life? Are you well-informed to deal with your life? Various things can come to us in life. Sometimes nice, pleasurable experiences. Sometimes it could be disastrous experiences. Life will be throwing various experiences. Am I well informed? Am I rooted in that knowledge to respond well to these experiences coming to me? Am I equipped to meet life? If I am not equipped, that is the first thing we should do. Give that a top priority, that anything, any experience life offers, I should know to take it. And that is my first important lesson. And I'm going to develop it, going to cultivate it, equip myself with it. Without equipping that, then every time when something comes, we'll be shattered, demolished. Feel dejected, destroyed. So it is important that to meet life, I must be well equipped, continuously verify, recheck again and again. Are you well informed about life? This is important. Krishna was well informed about his life. He was well informed about the world around him. He was well informed about his opponents, about his teammates, their strength, their weakness. He was well informed. Therefore, he could do. A strategic thinker must have that vision of being well informed, well read of everything around you. So this is very important. Krishna also had a very beautiful, very different kind of a response to Jarasandh. Jarasandh had an army which had 19 or 20 Akshoyanis. Means his army was larger than Pandavas and Kauravas put together. That kind of a power he had, members he had in his army. And he used to call Krishna, challenge him, and they used to fight the war. Jarasandha will come, and 17 times they fought the war. Krishna and Jarasandha, war happened for 17 times. Jarasandha will come with his army. Krishna, Balram, others will take their army, fight. And Krishna's army, Narayani Sena, used to destroy Jarasandha's army completely, annihilate, but not kill Jarasandha. So Jarasandha and Krishna will face one-on-one, and Krishna will run away. Can you imagine Krishna running away from a battlefield? Looks very funny, right? Very strange. How can a warrior run away from a battlefield? He used to run away. Meet Jarasandha, run away. Again, the war will happen after some time. Jarasandha will bring his army again. The next set of army will come. Pandava, the Krishna's army, armed forces will fight with Jarasandha, and Jarasandha's army will get dismantled. And Jarasandha and Krishna will face one-on-one, and Krishna will run away. 17 times. Balram used to get irritated. Balram was getting annoyed. Balram used to ask Krishna, saying, they're calling you a coward, running away from battlefield. You run away from a battlefield. They are talking all kinds of things. Why are you doing this? Why can't you face Jarasandha one-on-one and take on him? After destroying their army, every batch they bring, every battalion they bring, you destroy, and then you see this guy and you run away. He doesn't look good. Krishna made Balram sit and he said, listen, we have come, you and I have manifested to see the Asuric forces are annihilated completely. That we remove adharmic forces completely, and these guys are supporting adharmic forces. If we take on Jarasandha immediately, we won't know where others are hiding. They may be like sleeper cells. We won't know where they are. So it is important that we keep Jarasandha in the front and they take one by one. He keeps bringing his group. The negative strengths what Jarasandha has, let's keep annihilating them. He would bring, otherwise it would be too much on us to go searching where they are. To search and find is harder. Let us wait till he brings. So the best way is we finish his army. When he comes, I'll run away. 17 times he did. Jarasandha could not understand why this guy runs away. He's scared. And then finally, see the strategic thinking. And then finally, Jarasandha, almost all his army is gone. Now is the time to take Jarasandha on. And Krishna could have taken Jarasandha just like that, but he did not do it. Because that is the time Yudhishthira was also getting prepared for Rajasuya Yajna. Rajasuya Yajna, all the neighboring countries have to say they have no objection in Yudhishthira being the emperor. We accept. For that, one of the mighty kings is Jarasandha. If we get Jarasandha out of the way, and Jarasandha has prisoned at least 100 kings, all of them would get released and all of them would support Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira could become the emperor, Maharaj. So for that, only Bhima or Arjuna should kill Jarasandha. So he takes Bhima and Arjuna together and Bhima kills Jarasandha. See the strategic thinking. After running away from him for 17 times, he could have killed him, but he said, no, this will help Yudhishthira's cause. Let's give in. So he was very clear on the overall dharma, and he did everything to take care of that dharma, to protect that dharma. That was Krishna. Very strategic, absolutely selfless. Focus was only on dharma, and he needs to protect dharma at all times. And he did every action of his was towards that. Another incident, which is quite strange and funny too. This happened when Bhishma gone, Drona gone, Karna has become the commander-in-chief of the Kauravas. I mean, 13th or 14th day of the war this was. On the 14th day of the war, Karna, mighty warrior, we have heard of him so much. He is also Kunti Putra only. Born to Surya and Kunti, valiant, valorous. So he was fighting the war, and there was a time when he could have captured Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira and Karna came to fight one-on-one, and Karna told Yudhishthira, you go and fight with your equals, leave me. Don't come with me. Don't come on my path, you go. Now that Yudhishthira can't go, he took on Karna. And Karna literally hurt Yudhishthira, injured him in his hands, in his legs, somewhere in his ribs. Yudhishthira was badly bruised, badly wounded all over. When Yudhishthira was badly wounded, his charioteer took him away to a safer place, and Karna was now looking out for other warriors like Nakul, Sahadev, Bhima, etc., because he fought all of them in the war. And finally, he fought Arjuna. So when he was fighting, he went away. So he was looking for others. The charioteer took Yudhishthira to safety, took him to his tent, and all the medical team there were working on Yudhishthira, trying to recoup him back. He was quite badly injured, and he was slowly recovering. At that time, from his tent window, he saw Arjuna and Krishna coming towards his tent, fast, galloping fast. The white horses coming towards his tent. At distance, he could see that. And they were coming in a good speed. Yudhishthira assumed that Arjuna is coming to tell him that he killed Karna. That he had a fight one-on-one with Karna, and Karna got killed. Yudhishthira thought Arjuna is coming to say that. Rather, Yudhishthira assumed that Arjuna is coming to say that. So when Arjuna came and jumped off the chariot, came running to Krishna, came running to Yudhishthira, and Krishna was with him, came running to Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira first thing he asked, did you kill Karna? Did you fight Karna? Because Karna spared his life. It was a shame to live at mercy of Karna's life from Yudhishthira's standpoint. He didn't even know Karna was his brother. He was an enemy who insulted Draupadi badly. So Yudhishthira was upset, and he wanted to know if this has happened, if Arjuna killed Karna. Arjuna said, no, Karna I'll take later, not now. There were rare moments when Yudhishthira lost his balance. Much before the war, when Arjuna got one special weapon blessed by the gods, Arjuna did tapas to collect all these weapons. And when he got this powerful weapon, and that was his Gandiv bow. Gandiv bow is a very powerful bow, blessed by the divine, that this bow, when you keep using, the arrows will never get exhausted. You will keep getting arrows unexhausted. So it's a great gift to have for an archer, that you are never short of arrows. You have it always. So Arjuna was so thrilled when they got this Gandiv. And he promised upon Gandiv that if anybody speaks bad about Gandiv, he will kill them. This is the oath he took long before the war. And everybody around him, they know that Arjuna has taken an oath. Anything you say about Arjuna is fine. But if you say something bad about his Gandiva, he has taken an oath that he will kill. Kill that person who insults Gandiva. Here, Yudhishthira was disturbed. He was upset. At that time, Yudhishthira said few things which insulted Arjuna and also insulted Gandiv, his bow. He said, useless bow, what you have, what can you do? You can't fight Karna with that bow, and what is the use? Something he said, which was rude on Arjuna. Arjuna was okay with it. But when he said something on Gandiva, Arjuna said, now look, oh my brother, you know I have made this promise. I have taken an oath. Look, Bhishma made that mistake. Arjuna made that mistake. It runs in their blood to make promises in haste, suffer in leisure. Krishna never made such things throughout, strategic. Wisdom, that is. So he said, now you know that I made a promise. I took a vow that whoever does this, I will kill them. Now I have to keep my oath. You spoke, I have to kill you. Can you imagine a discussion happening on the 14th day of the war, that Arjuna is talking to Yudhishthira that you said something, now I have to kill you. Why the hell did you speak about my bow? Yudhishthira was quiet. He was not sure now what to do. Arjuna said something, uttered already, and now he has to keep up his word. And what must be Krishna's feeling when he saw these two people talking? Jokers. I have brought the war till 14th day and most of them are over. If we take Karna and then the battle is almost won. Dharma comes back. And here two of them are talking about their personal oath that I have to kill you now. Arjuna telling Yudhishthira, I have to kill you because you spoke bad. And he didn't like about it, but that's a promise he made. They are not sure. You see, when to hold to Satya, when to hold to Dharma, that clarity should be there. When Dharma should dominate, when Satya should dominate, that clarity is important. Now here he was holding on to this. So Krishna looked at Arjuna and he said, wait Arjuna, there is a method by which, without actually killing Yudhishthir, you may incur the sin of killing Yudhishthir. You don't have to physically kill him, but you will incur that sin of killing Yudhishthir. Arjuna said, how? Tell me how. Yudhishthir was also watching. How? He said, see, Yudhishthir is a noble man, nice person. Say something bad about him. Say nasty things about him. Say rude things about him. Derogatory stuff about him. You have killed him. Please remember this. This is very important for all of us. About good people, if we say bad things, that is equal to incurring the sin of killing a good person. About a noble person, when we go out and say all kinds of things, please remember, through words we are killing that noble person. The sin is equivalent to killing a noble person. You don't have to kill him through an arrow. You are killing him through your words, and the sin is the same. So he said, Yudhishthir, we all know Yudhishthir is a noble person, and you say something bad about him. So Arjuna comes, stands, so feeling ashamed how to say bad things about Yudhishthir, whom he respected so much. A little more difficult for him to say that. But there's no other way. That is the only way Yudhishthir would live, and Arjuna would get that sin. So Arjuna came forward and gave few galis to Yudhishthir. Because of your gambling, we landed in this trouble, and you did this to us, you did this, a few things he said. And Yudhishthir was standing there with his heads down in absolute shame on Arjuna's utterances. When Arjuna has done sufficiently enough, Krishna said, stop now, you have killed him. He's dead. You have incurred the sin. So he'll say, he'll look at Yudhishthira and say, go take bath and come. You're fine now. Arjuna has incurred the sin of killing you. Now Arjuna got up and said, Krishna, I don't feel like living because I know my brother is such a noble man and I said such rude, derogatory stuff on him today. I don't deserve to live. I am going to do Athyatma, suicide. I want to kill myself. And he took a dagger saying, I have to kill myself. I don't want to live. Can you imagine on the 14th day, this conversation is going on between Arjuna, Krishna and Yudhishthir. And now Arjuna is thinking of suicide, contemplating suicide because he spoke bad about his brother. Completely confused they were about Dharma, about Satya. Krishna looked and he said, okay, there is a method. Strategic thinker, well-informed guy. There is a method. Means you do see these things, this action is equivalent to suicide. You don't have to commit suicide, but this is equivalent to suicide. What is that? Arjuna was keen. What is that? Tell me. What is that? He says, in front of noble people, good, noble people, glorify yourself. Speak about yourself. Boast yourself. Go and talk all about yourself. Be haughty about yourself. Go brag about yourself in the presence of noble people. In presence of noble people, we should be humble. Not that we go there and brag all of our greatness, what I can do, what I can't do. We should not go and do this in presence of noble, great people. In presence of great people, we should be quiet, receptive, feel, be in their presence, hog that presence fully, soak in it. Be humble and see what we can receive. Not that we go and boast. So he said, Yudhishthira is a noble person. Now, in front of him, you brag about your prowesses. You boast about yourself. That is equal to suicide. So Arjuna comes and stands in front of Yudhishthira and says, I'm the most powerful archer on earth. I'm the most good-looking man. You guys got Draupadi because of me. And I did this to you. I did this to you. Without me, this war can't be there. You can't win this, that. He went on bragging. And Krishna said, enough. You have committed suicide. Equivalent to that. The shame is equivalent to that. Now come, take a shower. Let's go back to the war. Can you imagine a conversation like this on the 14th day of the war? And he has to take these kind of people with him along to establish dharma. People were talented, but wisdom was not there. People had talents, but clarity was not there. He was a guru, a guide, showed them the way. So let us understand this from Krishna. On dharma, he was always focused. He never gave up on it. Strategic thinker, well-informed. Nobody could ruffle his feathers. He was just pleasant, calm, smiling always. In spite of different difficult situations, he never lost his balance. He stayed balanced. These are the eternal qualities of Krishna we should be inspired to emulate. When we cultivate these qualities, when we develop these qualities, we rise ourselves to Krishna's level. We are, after all, what our thoughts are, isn't it? As the thoughts, so the person. What kind of thoughts Krishna had? Change the thoughts to Krishna's thoughts. The thoughts what we have is what we are. What kind of a thoughts Krishna had? Krishna had a kind of a mind which would smile always. He had a mind which was never disturbed by anything. Mentally, he was never depressed. He was never gave himself to dejection, despondency. No matter how hard the situation was, and he had real tough times in life, but he managed to retain the smile and that strength. Emulate that. Let's be well informed like Krishna. Let's have clarity on dharma and satya. Let us be well read like Krishna. Let us understand his strategies. And to continue further, how do I become like Krishna? To become like Krishna, read his Gita. That is the book. One of the most beautiful books the world has ever seen. And it is so good that our Prime Minister gifts this book to any visitors from different countries coming to India, or when he goes abroad from India, he gives this book. And I've heard him himself saying that there can't be anything better we have heard than Gita. There cannot be anything better which we can give than Gita. That's the book. It's India's best gift to the world. Whole of humanity is one family, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Let this beautiful message reach everybody. How should it reach everybody? You start reading first. Live what Gita teaches us. Then through you, Gita will spread. You don't have to be a pracharak like us to go and talk. Through your living, Gita should spread. How you live, people around you would be inspired. The living of Gita through you must be contagious. Let's do that. Let's study Gita. Let's live Gita. Let that living of Gita make others around us inspired. Let that experience, what we have gained through Gita, become contagious for others. So to rise up to Krishna, emulate his qualities, and to do that in a focused way, and to get there consistently, Bhagavad Gita is the best way. These are the eternal inspirations for the youth. It was nice talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji, for these wonderful eternal inspirations. from the Gita, that from Krishna's life as well as his teachings, both that you brought to us such a nice way. And Swami Mitrananji is renowned as one of the dynamic disciples of Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji, who revolutionized the whole world with the Gita. So, but for him, Gita, to the spread of Gita that today we have, all credit goes to Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji, and all his illustrious disciples like Swami Mitrananji, who have taken it to all walks of life, to all ages. Swamiji, if you permit, we have a couple of questions.
We have 5 minutes?
Yes, Swamiji.
Let's take it
So,
for 5 minutes.
One question is, you rightly brought out all the great strengths of Lord Shri Krishna through his multi-dimensions. You gave wonderful episodes, incidents to prove it. And also, you gave some of the threats that what he had through Jarasandha and all those people. And you keep teaching in management sectors and corporate, where usually there is something called SWOT analysis that we do. So, right, like you presented the strength of Lord Shri Krishna, is there anything like the weakness of Shri Krishna?
No, I don't think Krishna had any weakness. At his given point of time, the members around him who were capable of fulfilling his vision were people like Yudhishthira and Arjuna. So he was very compassionate with them. He knew that he has to carry them along to see Dharma is established. So he was extra probably compassionate with them. That's the reason is they are the only capable people. There was no partiality in Krishna. He was looking out for capable people who will establish and run the world better. And so he moved along with the Pandavas. Apart from that, I don't think there was any weakness as such in him. Purnavatar, emulate him. Ram also had no weakness. Krishna also had no weakness. Valmiki and Vyasa will not glorify these people if they had faults. If you see seemingly any fault in Ram or in Krishna, I tell you, this is a beautiful way to learn. Pick up that. What you consider as a fault in Ram or in Krishna, as weakness in them, pick that up and try to see how it is right. Just do this. When you pick up something saying, this should not be wrong. If it is wrong, these great authors wouldn't have brought it to highlight it to us. So it cannot be wrong. How it can be right? How it can be right? How this action of Krishna or how this action of Rama can be right? Try to arrive on it. On trying to arrive on it, your understanding of Dharma will develop. At every contradiction you find, at every conflict which we find, there are answers for it. So if you arrive upon the answer, then you arrive upon dharmic vision on it. That is dharmic vision. So they don't have weakness, but in case you see something, you feel Krishna was not right here, Krishna was not right there, or Rama was not right here, pick them up and see how they are right. There are different perceptions. And then in those perceptions, if you arrive how it is right, your understanding of Dharma develops. So where you find contradictions, pick them up. They can be the easy way to establish in Dharma, in Dharmic understanding. Wherever there is a contradiction, pick it up and try to see how it is right, and you will arrive there.
Thank you, Swamiji. One more question. So I think in this way of answering this itself, you have answered the next question also. But why is that such a great visionary, a leader, an avatara Purusha who had so much of strengths and all those eternal inspirations that we can draw from him, kind of had a tragic end where even the entire Yadava clan of his own lineage got destroyed by themselves, and also Krishna also had been shot by a hunter and then he was supposed to have dead. So why this tragic end for such a great visionary leader?
We should not look at his end emotionally. We should look at it with our intellect. Krishna never interfered with dharma, with karma, never interfered with karma. If something is somebody's karma, he said, give them knowledge to equip themselves to face it. to deal with it. Let them be stronger. He never interfered. When they set a strategic, what you call, trap to take Arjuna far away, and Abhimanyu got killed, you mean to say Krishna was not aware? Abhimanyu was his nephew. He loved his sister's son, Subhadra's son. But when Arjuna was falling in the trap, he warned him once. Arjuna was very adamant. He said, no, they have challenged. It is my Kshatriya Dharma. I need to go. He was a charioteer. He said, let's go. Because I cautioned him, but he didn't pick up my hint. I will not interfere. He went with him. In the end of teaching 700 verses to Arjuna, Krishna tells Arjuna, I have told what is to be told. That's my dharma. Now you have the freedom to decide what you want to do. I am not going to take that decision for you. I have told you what is to be told, and I have informed that. It is now you who have to take a call, and Arjuna took the right call. He said, now my delusions are gone, my everything, I am back into action. He took, but that decision was made by Arjuna. Krishna did not tell Arjuna, do this. He only told what is right and left Arjuna to decide. So Krishna would not interfere into the world affairs. Unfortunately, the Yadavas behaved very rudely. Yadavas were obnoxious, the kind of things they were doing. And they were people who were drunk and destroying themselves. So when Gandhari cursed Yadavas, saying, Krishna, your people will die in front of you, just like my children died in front of me, Krishna felt, I did not know how to handle Yadavas, how their end will come, because they have gone to a point beyond which they cannot be rectified. It's a useless thing. His own people, he was no partial. His goal was dharma, not personal attachment to anybody. So he felt Gandhari gave them a better exit, quick. Let that curse happen fast because this lot has to go. So they all happened. And since he was also part of that Yadava, he was there and the guy shot that arrow which was made of the same maize. A part of it came and Krishna went peacefully. If we are looking at him as a tragic death, he was peaceful. He saw before that Balram went. That was also very interesting. Balram came and sat in front of that river because he has to go first. In Ramayana also Lakshman went first because Vishnu has to come later. Adishesha has to go there first. So Balram has to go. Balram came, sat in meditation, opened his mouth, and a snake came out of his mouth, went into the river and went into the high seas. Balram dropped his body. Then it was Krishna. Now he knew that my time is up and I should go. Some cause you need to go. Nobody can stay here. Why should it always be a cause only in meditation that you're sitting? Why can't it be when you're resting? It doesn't matter how we go. What matters is how we live. So how he lived is more important. And the arrow shot him and he went. We should not even look at it as a tragic end or something. It was a brilliant life, well lived, did everything what he has to do. And then he said, my time has come, I should go. And he was ready to go any time. Okay, people, it was nice talking to you. We should end because we're going far beyond the time. Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji, for your wonderful insights. And once again, on behalf of Adhyatma Yoga and Advaita Academy, we offer our humble pranams to Swami Mitrananji. I thank Shri Raghav, who had been so helpful in communicating with Swamiji. Swamiji was traveling during my days of communication. So Raghavji was very helpful on from Swamiji's side. I acknowledge his help as well. And thank you all once again for your patient listening. And Swamiji, Hari Om, thank you so much. I'd like to announce the tomorrow's program.
Yeah, so, I can take leave now.
Yes, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Hari Om, thank you. And you can follow Swami Mitranji's talks and everything through the social media. And I think Chinmaya Mission's website would give you the contact details of Swami Mitrananji as well. And anybody would want to follow his sessions, talks and all will be able to do that easily by following all the programs of Swamiji. So
I see a lot of questions here, which we couldn't answer. We just answered few.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the comment boxes, You take a copy of it and send it to me.
Yes, Swamiji.
Maybe some other time in some other talks, I would cover those topics. Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji.
Thank you.
So Swamiji has been kind enough to say that all the questions he would answer in suitable occasion. So I shall take all your questions. We have many questions even in the YouTube comments as well.
Yes,
Other
please,
than
sure. Do it.
So all that I will pass it on to Swamiji, and we expect Swamiji
Thank
to
you.
answer all those. Thank you so much. Hari Om. And I request Achala to share the program for tomorrow. And tomorrow again, I think we have set in a beautiful way Krishna's wonderful dimension as a strategist today, what Swamiji brought. And tomorrow it will be led further again by a great orator, a great social worker, Sri Chakravarti Sulibele, who will be presenting on Krishna as the game changer. Again, this will be the session for tomorrow. Krishna as a game changer, which will be present by Chakravarti Sulibele, the mentor of Yuva Brigade. And this is the session that we are going to have tomorrow. And also we have some surprises which is added to be there tomorrow. So please be present at 6:30 itself with for the session of Sri Chakravarti Sulibele. And also day after tomorrow we have Srimati Rohini Chakravarti from Sandipani Gurukulam at Bangalore, who is going to present on Shri Krishna as a student. Krishna as a teacher that we have seen, Krishna as a student, how he learned, and what is that which we can learn from Krishna to learn is another aspect which she is going to present to us. So wonderful sessions lined up. Please share with everybody again and again, as I tell in Tamil, Yam Petra Inbam Perigayu Vayagam. What goodness that I have got, let everybody get benefit. So it's very difficult to hear such great speakers, Swamijis, great Acharyas, all coming in one forum and speaking about Krishna. So let's all hear, and it's all practically applicable. Today what Swamiji presents is also like very practically applicable insights. So let's all learn and apply. Bring your youngsters, your children, let them listen to all these stories. Today, the entire Mahabharata war was present such a nutshell by Swamiji. So let your children hear it. They keep playing with the laptop computers and all those things. We keep complaining about all those. So where will the change happen? So here is a good opportunity. Please do make your children. I know many elders who are hearing, but listen, make your children hear. At least once, if they would hear such talks of Swami Mitrananji, tomorrow a great youth icon, whom many regard to be kind of a spark of Swami Vivekananda in the form of Chakravarti Sulibele. So don't even miss tomorrow's session, especially I urge you for the session. Tomorrow it's going to be a wonderful, inspiring session. So I request everybody to please do attend tomorrow's session, 6:30, and also share with other friends as well, and get more people to benefit from this. And I once again move on to go to the Utsava Geetam, the song for the day, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
जय यदुकुल तिलक भगवन् यमुना तीरचर देवकी स्तुत वसुदेव सुत माधव मधुरमन स्वामिन् मामव देववर माधव मधुरमन स्वामिन् मामव देववर नन्दानन्दकर गोपी जनहृदयायतन शकटासुरमुख सुररिपुसूदन नागभोगनटन बहुधाराधा प्रियकरण नागभोगनटन बहुधाराधा प्रियकरण कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हलधर वरसहज तरुण मुरलीधरण नट मल्लविमर्दन मातुल मदन मथुरा नगर सागरपदे मायामोहं मम शमय रुक्मिण्यपहरणं समरे जाम्बवती वरणम् मणिवरसमुदितभामाभरणं विरचितवन्तमहं वन्दे मोहनरूपधरम् विरचितवन्तमहं वन्दे मोहनरूपधरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णां वसनेन पार्थं गीतावचनेन परिपालितवान् योगिवरेण्यो धर्मग्लानिहरः शाश्वतगोप्तामनुजान धर्मग्लानिहरः शाश्वतगोप्तामनुजान तव लीलास्मरणं कृष्ण शोकमोहहरणम् तवोपदेशाध्ययनाचरणं पुनरावृत्तिहरं लोके परमानन्दफलम् पुनरावृत्तिहरं लोके परमानन्दफलम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं वसुदेव